Welcome back again. Hope you had a very productive networking and exhibition visiting session. I certainly did. There are so many countries, so many companies from so many different financial services divisions, and it was really exciting to be a part of it. And I can imagine, probably you didn't visit all of them, but we have 2 days to actually network and visit all the exhibitors through time. And now it is my privilege to start our first panel discussion, which will be about digital transformation and emerging technologies. And in this panel, we'll be discussing the following points: the crucial role of financial technology in mitigating fraudulent activities and preventing money laundering, the future of money, and the last topic is open banking revolution. It's a really exciting panel, and to moderate this panel, it is my honor to introduce the moderator of the panel. And I can easily say he's a true guru of banking, and especially digital financial services, with over 48 years of experience in the field, with many international banking awards and also high-level executive roles. Currently, he is the CEO of the International Development Bank from UAE, Dubai. A great round of applause for Mr. Hani Idris. It's an honor to have you, sir. Please take a seat. And I would like to now invite our other distinguished 4 panelists from leading financial institutions. Dr. Selim Taştan, Head of Digital Transformation and Innovation Department from the Kuwait Türk Bank. Mr. Walid Goribal, Vice President, Head of IDEMIA Commercial Operations. Dr. Selim Taştan, honored to have you. Mr. Goribal, honored to have you. Mr. Abdullah Havat, Tadavul Financial Group Banking Solutions Manager. Honored to have you, sir. And finally, Mr. Colin Griffiths, Director of Sales at Glory. Honored to have you, sir. So, I leave the dear panelists to your hands, Mr. Hani Idris, and we have 45 minutes. I will do the timekeeping, and 10 minutes to closure. I'll be giving you a cue, so you can take the final wrap-ups. So 12:15 is the ending time. Please, enjoy.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأسعد الله أوقاتكم جميعا، وأتمنى للجميع في أيام الله العشر الأوائل من ذي الحجة كل خير وبركة عليكم جميعا ورضا من الله عز وجل. It's my pleasure to be in this, probably the 3rd conference, and I would like to start thanking the organizers, dear friend Al-Hadi Bakai Afak, also dear friend Anas Shizata, FEMA, and I understand also SDF joining that event. It's really a challenge to continue doing this professional and regional level of meeting on the new technology trend in banking and financial institutions in this part of the world. Our session today, and definitely I do thank Dr. Fuad for this kind introduction. Our session is titled Digital Transformation and Emerging Technologies. We will spend a few minutes actually to everybody of the speakers, my valuable speakers, to introduce themselves for 2 minutes for the audience. Then we will start, going through the main topic of the session itself, which is digital transformation and emerging markets, along with the other topics that have been, added by the organizers. In the meantime, if we do have time at the end of the session, we will definitely give a sort of chance for the people, audience, to have their questions or concerns. I will start with myself to allow me. My name is Hani Idris. I am 48 years banking experience. I started 1976 in Kuwait and up to 1990. Then I to Jordan, Palestine, Yemen, Iraq, and finally United Arab Emirates, Dubai. I will start first to give the chance for every speaker in the panel to give a sort of 2 minutes introduction about himself. Then we will start in our panel discussion. Please.
My name is Selim Tassa. I've been working for Kuwait Turk Participation Bank for almost 15, 16 years. And I'm the head of the digital transformation and innovation. I have different teams reporting to me. One is the digital transformation, open banking, data analytic governance, and incubation center for different teams. And most of my career is in IT, but 4 or 5 years ago, I moved to the strategy sector. And we are managing the digital transformation program at the bank and measure the digital maturity of the bank, different processes, products and services, etc. That's all.
Good morning. My name is Walid Gobriel. I am the Vice President for IDEMIA, for Head of Commercial Operations for Middle East and Africa. I come from a background of IT and specialized in identity. IDEMIA is a world leader in identity, and this is the current position that I have. But previously I worked for IBM, I worked for CETA, I worked for GE, and now for IDEMIA. Identity is a core element in identifying people who access different applications. Banking is definitely one of the crucial applications or critical applications that identity plays a core role in this. In my previous job, I did the same thing, but for different applications for transportation, mainly passengers through airports. And I had the privilege to work in Turkey here in quite number of projects in the aviation sector. So I'm very pleased to be here today. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I thank the organizer for an excellent organization. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's working. Good morning. I'm Abdullah Khawad from Tadawul Financial Group. I work as a banking solution manager now. I came back from IT and security, specialized in security of the IT. Mostly we do hardware banking solutions such as ATMs. We work with the Glory for counting and sorting machines, and with IDEMIA for digital identities. So it's been like 15 years now between financial institution, and that's it. You can go, Mr. Colin.
Thank you. Hello, so my name is Colin Griffiths. I work for Glory, and if you don't know Glory, it's a global cash company based in Japan, and my role is to work in the EMEA emerging markets, focused on Middle East and Africa, working with a network of partners to really help bring technology solutions to basically primarily banking sector, but increasingly to retail customers and cash in transit companies. So we have a variety of hardware and software solutions that can hopefully enable banks to do some of the transformation. Yeah, so it's my pleasure to be here and to be on this panel. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to, do a sort of preface or introduction about the two elements of our session today, digital transformation and emerging technologies. Digital transformation, based on my experience in this field, it is a civilization and culture transformation itself. It is not, what we used to understand from most of the people in the bank and financial institutions as if it is a sort of online, internet and mobile functionality. It's by far more than that, okay? It is really a civilization process, and it is a continuous process. Digital transformation is your customer journey. Digital transformation is mandatory, is not a choice. Digital transformation is a continuous process. It's not, a sort of session to be done or a project to be implemented, and no, it is really a continuous process. In the meantime, based on my, experience in the market, and I did probably a sort of digital transformation strategy for more than 15 banks in the region. The majority of the banks were, let's say, led or directed by the IT people as if digital transformation is a technology element only. Honestly speaking, digital transformation, there are 6 elements that must be jointly together taken into consideration while you are drafting or proceeding in doing your digital transformation journey or process. It's you as institution, the governors of this institution. It is your employee who is the assets that are going to implement this digital transformation. It is your customer journey, because we have a new customer with a new attitude, with the new needs, with the new requirements. We must admit that. Also, technology, it is one of the essential parts, dimensions, or elements of digital transformation, but it's not the only one. Also, innovation. Without innovation, you cannot meet what is going on and the challenge and the technology trends, what we are going to talk about in this session. The last and not least is your operating model. Doing digital transformation means that you are going to change your operating model you are doing now. This is in brief about digital transformation from my point of view. In the meantime, for emerging technologies, everybody knows now we are really facing a challenge for the history of the human being. We have 4 industrial revolutions. Started with steam revolution, then followed by electricity revolution, and last century, mid of 90s, was the information revolution. The 3 revolutions between everyone, it was around 100 years from steam to electricity, and another 100 years from electricity to, information revolution, mid-90s, last century. But within probably less than 20 years, we move from information revolution to digitalization. We are now in digitalization revolution. This is, part of it. Definitely, the emerging technologies, everybody is talking about, everybody knows about it. We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about 5G and what comes after. We are talking about, biometrics, measurement, and identity. Also, in the meantime, we are talking about what we can call cloud industry. We are talking about virtual banking. We are talking about, virtual reality. We are talking about metaverse, etc. So These are probably where are, I mean, the humanities processing in the challenge. I will really start with Dr. Salim and ask him not about digital transformation from element or process. It's up to him to elaborate on this question. My concern is he drew my attention for when he talk about maturity. You need really to do a sort of maturity of your digital transformation project to come sometime and see, okay, why don't I do evaluate and assess where I do stand? And what are the maturity index I must implement to understand where I do stand? And probably it will be wise if you give that, I mean, a mission or task to a third party. And when that third party, he will really give you the real status where you do stand from your digital transformation process. I would like to ask Dr. Salim, because he is a banker, and definitely he is in charge of this, I mean, journey or process of digital transformation, to give us, I mean, a brief about his outcome, feedback, and understanding how they did it, where they do stand, with thanks.
Thank you. Let me start with the definition. You know, sometimes people misunderstand what the digital transformation is. There are different terms. One is the digitalization, and the digital transformation. You know, digitalization is just moving one process to the digital environment. Digitalization is one-to-one business process to digital environment. But the digital transformation, we are talking about not the technology. You know, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when somebody comes to you and asks you what the digital transformation is, you know, people often say that, okay, we manage our digital transformation in IT, like upgrading infrastructure of IT, or updating an application. This is not a digital transformation. Digital transformation must start in the business side. That's one case. And the digital transformation is about the culture, the change of the people's mindset. This is really important. If you are not able to change the mindset of the people, you are not able to succeed on your digital transformation journey. The second thing is that well, actually, as a bank, we started our digital transformation journey in 2017, and we started with measuring our digital maturity. You know, organization, banks, financial institutions, whatever the sector you are in, you have to measure where you stand at, where you stay at, okay? This is really, really critical to find out where, in terms of the digital capabilities, where you're at. And how are you gonna do that? If you're gonna measure yourself, your digital maturity. How are you gonna do this? Well, actually, we started with a consulting company back in 2018, and we did 6 months of a project, and there are different digital capabilities, for example, customer experience, for example, IT infrastructure, processes, process automation, agile, etc., etc. So you have to identify your digital capabilities. Then afterwards, the consulting company had more than 25 meetings with different business departments, asking them different questions. That's for the qualitative part of it. You have to prepare some questions, and you have to ask your people, your business departments, in different cases. For example, customer experience. For example, maturity of the digital channels. This is really, really critical, because sometimes, as I said it before, is not a IT's transformation. It is business transformation. It's not a business optimization. It is business transformation. You have to transform the way that you do the business. You have to transform your business model. You have to transform your products and services. You have to change the mindset of the people. This is really critical. The third thing is that Yes, you do ask the questions for the qualitative part. You get the answer. You directly ask your business people where you're staying at, you know, in terms of like corporate, like for the banking side, banking sector, for the corporate products or retail products, what is the maturity? What is the customer experience for the retail or the corporate sides? This is very, very critical. And your infrastructure, that's also important. You know, I said that it is not the IT transformation, but IT is the enabler case in this case. IT is gonna, you know, enable you move from one way to another way. So you have to come up with the, you know, the digital maturity scores that we do like 1 to 5 scales for each digital capabilities. For example, the bank got a score like 3.5 for the customer experience, 2.5 in the digital channels maturity. The third one is that, the fourth is the, you have to, you know, for the qualitative part and also the quantitative part, that is also important. You have to measure, you have to use data. You get the numbers. You get the data and to measure your digital maturity. Sometimes people understand that, okay, well, I asked the questions, now I measure our digital maturity. It's wrong. You have to use the data as well. You know, what is the number of the customers? What are the digital, what is the number of digital customers, penetration percentage, ratio, etc., etc. You have to get at data as well to measure your digital maturity. And the last one, based on the scores, you have to create your digital transformation roadmap. What are the projects that you are going to start to increase your digital maturity from current stand to be future stand? This is really critical as well. So you have to think about these ways. And the cultural transformation also, I must add it, cultural transformation is another thing you have to succeed. What I said it before, digital transformation is about the cultural transformation. It's about the changing the mindset of people. What you're gonna do to change the mindset of people? You have to do some activities. You have to do some cultural transformation activities. That is also critical. And as the bank, Kuwait Turk is an Islamic bank, participation bank located in Turkey, and we got some branches as well in Germany, in Bahrain as well. So we got the digital transformation roadmap, and we executed. Now it's been 5 years, 6 years. Now we measure again our digital maturity 2 years ago, and we plan to measure our digital maturity this year as well. So every 2 years, you have to measure your digital maturity. Last sentence, the first time we started with a consulting company, now, alhamdulillah, we measure our digital maturity. We created our digital maturity model. We checked out McKinsey, the other consulting companies, and we developed our digital maturity model, and we use this. Sorry about the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. Now, Mr. Walid, I mean, being from an IT background and talking about identity, I would like, I mean, from your side to elaborate on one of the most element, I mean, of emerging technologies, which is biometric measurement. Would you please give us a sort of where do we stand in this line of business and industry for banks and financial institutions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will start with where my colleague, really highlighted. Digital transformation is not an IT project. It's definitely start from the business. But I would like to add that we want to make sure that everybody is engaged. We have implemented many digital transformation projects, whether for banks or other sectors. The problem is that it usually starts with the IT or the security people. This is definitely where it starts, and not driven by the business. and definitely it will end up in that leaning towards one side of the business. I think the lesson that we learned from many projects that we implemented is basically to engage everybody, all members, whether it's an IT, business, security, authorities as well, to make sure it actually is a successful project. From the technology point of view, which is basically the vehicle that will take us, will lead, it's led by the business side. IT is definitely the vehicle that will achieve the goal of the digital transformation. We do the digital transformation for many reasons. It's the revolution, as you mentioned. It's the direction. It's cost effective. It saves money for the institutions, and it gives a good customer experience and provides security. But in the meantime, here to stress on the element of security, we have to adapt technologies. And technologies basically to identify the person which we are dealing with, which is identity, whether in the verification process, enrollment process. This is definitely a key, using technologies like facial recognition, the finger, which can be also captured right now by mobile, which is using an SDK, and we have many solutions deployed, and we are in the process of deploying solutions that will recognize fingerprint using mobile phones, similar to the face. Such technologies will allow you to identify the person, but this is not the end of the game. Here, there is a big IT structure and security process that behind the scenes, meaning that we really need to make use full of technology, of AI technologies, to search for data, big data, and this will give us trend for fraud trends that's happening in the background. Also the security part and who is actually accessing such biometric data and identity data is actually crucial as well. So it's a collective package of security and IT that actually will achieve the goal. So combining all this continuous audit of such processes is actually an essential to achieve the digital transformation and ensure the credibility of the outcome of the process. So it's an ongoing effort between doing the digital transformation and making sure that I can identify people and using their biometrics and all this, and eliminating the fraud and filtering and monitoring what all the infrastructure, whether from data centers and the networks that I'm dealing with. So basically, to have a successful digital transformation project for an institution, whether it's in the banking sector or other sectors, it's a collective effort between all sides of the community. Starts from the business, which I agree with you, definitely, it's the driving, achieving the customer experience, having the IT and the security, and adapting technologies like the biometric specifically, if we can discuss specifically about biometric. Facial recognition is probably the main biometric that's used for ease, like in EKYC technologies and so on. And behind this also there is a lot of anti-spoofing activities, things that really, there is a trend of fake pictures as well, liveness detection of the person I'm dealing with in case of EKYC. The technologies is also, which is emerging, it's as I mentioned, the fingerprint using capturing by a mobile device, which is definitely a technology that's been used today. It's not standardized, so there is no standard for such capturing. IDEMIA is a world leader in the wireless or the touchless capability of capturing fingerprint or using access control devices, but now we're moving this technology to mobile phones. Great achievements. IDEMIA has been in competition through the NIST in last March, and we won #1 on this emerging technology. It's not yet standardized, so NIST, which is the US institution that actually put the standards for such activities and the security, have not yet put a final standard yet, but it's on the way. This will definitely give another element of security in this domain. So biometric plays a key role of identity, as I think, to secure the digital transformation and to secure the identity of the people that are actually accessing the service, it's definitely the core of, or the starting point, for example, for EKYC. It actually saves a lot of money. We have a project currently, we are implemented in one of the Middle East countries, where we have proven that using EKYC, using a mobile device, is actually saving money than actually submitting your documents and or your credentials to the bank. And it was actually a matter of triggering or making the comparison between capturing the identity using a mobile device and submitting for EKYC process versus the paper trail that or paper process that was there. It's actually proved that it's actually cheaper, and from there the project started, and all banks have actually signed for this project. So it's on the national domain. This is actually was a cooperation between banks, the IT of the central bank who actually verified the security of it, the root of trust, which is the government, which says, okay, this person with his document is the person that provided his picture to the root of trust. So all of these communities have agreed on the technology, have actually agreed that this is a secure way to identify people. From there, it starts moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Now, Khalid, being, head of security or at financial institutions, can you please, most of the challenges we are facing in this era as it relates to digital transformation, emerging technologies, is legislation and security, honestly speaking. From that point, can you please elaborate about where is the risk, where is the sort of worries or threat that the banks and financial institutions should take care in their process now as it relates to penetration of their system, their process from security point of view, and what is the most advanced, let's say, steps or firewalls in this part of the business? Thank you.
Most of our financial institution here using open what you can say infrastructures, and all of them trying to move on with I don't know what to say, but
please, I understand we have 3 languages online, real-time translation.
No, it's okay.
If
It's
you want
okay
to speak in Arabic,
for English. No. But I'm trying to be specific for financial institution here. As we in Tadawul Financial lately, we have the first PCI Center for Personalization of Cards. So you have to be under a specific standard or framework of security, so you can manage to protect your institution. So logically and physically. So we have many requirements for security on the logical level. And the logical level, we are talking about firewalls, we are talking about SIEMs, softwares to check all your network. We have antiviruses, daily updates. You have to check everything. And from the physical side, you have the access controls. You have CCTVs to protect all your infrastructure. In addition of that, you have to have penetration tests, vulnerability testing inside, externally and internally, to make sure that the environment that you are holding, it's safe, and the most security is the customer data. It's the most valuable asset that you have to make safe. What else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Colin, I mean, I'm really wonder if I ask you, and you choose which one you would like to elaborate on. Is the future of money, and since we are now moving probably from barter to coins to cash to payment cards, whatever, I mean, and with digital, I mean, currency, cryptocurrency, etc. This is number one. Or to talk about open banking, I mean, in this part of the emerging technologies, which is really meant not only the banks or financial institutions, also it's meant, I mean, third parties, I mean, or other institutions that directly could really benefit from data sharing of the customer itself. Please, it's your choice to answer any one of both, or both of them. It's up to you.
Both, yeah. Let me try both in a simple way. So the future of money, Glory is obviously a cash company at its core, and it's 100 years old. But we're aware the world is changing, and although cash is in decline, in real terms, the total volume of cash continues to grow year on year. So although there's a lot of perception that it's going to be obsolete, the data suggests that's not the case. So we're very confident that we have a business that's viable, and we're investing and researching into the long term. But we are aware, as cash becomes less used in many markets, particularly in Western Europe, it becomes more of a headache. So we need basically technology solutions to take that headache away from banks. So when you have your customers, your core business is many customers, small SME businesses that come to deposit their wages. You need to deal with that quickly, and then use the time to sell the higher value solutions and promote the technologies and the sort of digital banking and payments that are so valuable to the future of your banks. So it's the marriage of the two, and really what we see is important, that take care of your core business and your core cash customers, to enable other things to happen. It's part of that transformation that's so important. And in terms of open banking, again, it's something that we as a business are investing in, because we see, and again, this is probably a trend more from Western Europe, where with many branches closing, they're looking at hubs to share banking services, because again, the customers still need a physical presence. They need to come somewhere to deal with either deposits or deal with complex banking solutions that need your expertise. So we're helping to enable technologies that allow people to share effectively a communal space. So what were former competitors, we're now possibly working together. We bought a company called One Banks that has the technology in the background. So these are APIs that allow you to use the customer's data in a very secure way. And that can drive a kind of more flexible approach that says you can close your branches, you can make those savings, but you still have an ability to reach your customer base, particularly across, large countries, which are many here. So geographically, the space is huge. It's not all about the capital cities, and that's where we see it's important that you don't leave effectively more rural communities behind. You need technology that allows them to interact in a traditional way across an entire across the entire geography of a market. So those are two ways that we think is the future, and we'll keep innovating and finding ways to support effectively cash customers and enable technical transformation. So I don't know if that helps answer some of your questions.
Thank you very much. I do have, sort of note that I have to close within 6 minutes. I will do my best. 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Oh, thank you very much. Dr. Fuad, he showed me, the 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes back. Anyway, I would like every one of you, in sort of 1 minute, please, to do his own conclusion about what we talk about in this panel. Please, Doctor. Okay, we'll start with you, Colin, again. Do your conclusion based on the recommendation of Dr. Salim.
I think in conclusion, again, it's about the customer. So again, it's not about what we want as technology providers. It's not about what you want as a bank. It's what the customers want. And the customers want choice. They want to be able to visit a bank. They want your expertise. They want to use technology. And your customers are sort of young, highly technical people who love the latest technologies. But many of your customers are old, traditional people who like cash, they store it in a bag, and you've got to take care of them. And I think the key here is to have options for everybody and not leave anyone behind. And I think it's, regulation and stuff will come in play to make sure that doesn't happen. So you have a tough job. You have to support a wider range of customers over a longer period of time. And it's difficult, but I think if we're smart, we can look after everyone, and that's our challenge as a business.
Abdullah, please.
A fast move in
Take it.
a fast move in digital transformation without taking care of your security. It's going to be but dangerous, losing every effort you have made, every single bit of work you've been working on. It will be just gone once you got penetrated or you got ransomware in your system. You got nothing. So it's one of the most important elements of your project to take care of your security and to be supported by high management of those projects, to push those rules and authenticate them with the other departments to make everything safe.
Please.
Thank you. Digital transformation is definitely not a choice. It's a direction. It's going forward, and it's with all respect, I think, yes, there is people will prefer to go the old way, the traditional way, but it's fading, and it's going to continue to fade. I think to implement a digital transformation project, you need all stakeholders to be together. You cannot decide from one side, from the business side, or the IT side, or the security side. They all have to be engaged in order to have an outcome with a good experience and good outcome of any project, digital transformation project. Identity is a core element in this. Identity has to be secure, has to be not just we are capturing picture or capturing fingerprint, is actually we use high algorithms that's actually certified by World Body Organization to get the identity correct, to make sure the data is stored correct, to make sure it's handled correct. This will give a trust to the organization and give trust to the customers to move forward with such technology. So I think it's a very critical to have the right technologies in place.
Dr. Said.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's my call. Actually, yeah, the digital transformation, one side, security is critical. I fully agree with you. But the technology trends, let me, 1-2 minutes about the technology trends. We now, last 6 months, 4 or 5 months, we've been talking about ChatGPT, right? LLM, large language models. So technology is very, very changing, rapidly changing. And 5 years, 6 years ago, we were talking about the blockchain. Now, check out the blockchain. Blockchain is still, we experience. We got some pilot projects for the blockchain technologies. Sometimes there's a tipping point, tipping of, when the technology comes into maturity level, or the plateau, we call it. So it's going to spread out. Everybody, everyone, every organization is going to use that technology. But some technologies still needs to be mature, like blockchain, for example. So whenever the technology is changing, different trends, digital transformation trends, digital banking trends, first of all, we have to check, analyze assess of risks, identity risk, the security risk. That is really critical. That is really critical for the financial services sectors as well. But the other case, there must be a use cases. So how are we going to use that technology? How are we going to implement that technology? What is the benefit of it? What is the benefit for your organization? This is really critical because we have seen research reports and everything else. We have seen a lot of investments put it in new technologies but return is very low. So when you do implement a new technology, there are different technologies, you have to consider about the business case. How you're going to implement at your organizations, how you're going to benefit for it. And Mr. Hani is pushing me for the time, so I have to stop it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Give me a chance, I mean, to do a conclusion. I do recommend for all banks and financial institutions, please don't ever think on behalf of your customer. Don't. Please let your customer decide what they want. I do remember in one of the sessions I take as training about an event happened with the president of Rolex. Rolex is the most advanced or famous watch to work on. In a dinner, they asked him, they says, Mr. President, what is the latest technology and the mechanism of the watch business? He says, I don't know. So the man says again, it doesn't make sense that the president of Rolex, he don't know the latest technology and advance, I mean, on the watch mechanism? He says, honestly speaking, we don't know. Because in Rolex, we are selling luxury. بالعربي الفخفخة. Okay? They don't care about the mechanism. He says we can buy it from Japan, we can buy it from Switzerland, maybe we can buy it from anywhere else. So they are really selling فخفخة على الساعة. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. And I hope I'm on time, ya Dr. Fuad. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you next year, inshallah.
I would like to thank Mr. Hani Idris for the excellent moderation and timekeeping, and also our panelists. Please, a big round of applause for our dear panelists.